Okay, so hey guys, I'm just going to show you how to keep yourself occupied with some bits you may have in the house by making a little cardboard loom. I'm going to be doing lots of little bits like this today, just showing you lots of different ways you can make little looms to keep yourself busy at home with things you should be able to find around the house. Yeah, I'll start with this one, and then through the day we'll just release lots of nice little videos of how to build different types. This one's our most basic one. It's a really good one to do with the kids because it's simple and it works quickly, so you get quick results. So I've got the bits I've got here. I've got my tools and just a pencil, ruler, scissors, glue, and some string, and some tape. So what I've all done so far is just cut out a rectangle worth of cardboard. Now you can make them any size you want. The smaller the quicker they are. This is a good size, about roughly around A5 size, just because it's big enough to get your hands through and not as fiddly, but also it makes very quickly. So if you are making it with kids, this will get results quickly and keep them occupied. Right. So what I have done is just cut that out, and then I've got these two little strips here, which they'll come into play in a bit, so put them to the side. And again, with this bit as well, you'll find out what that is in a bit. So I've got my bit of card here. I'm not very neat with the scissors, so I'm just going to cut maybe a few little straggly bits off. It doesn't matter too much because your yarn's not going to be going there, but I've got a little OCD with it. Just going to snip that there. Cool. So nice and simple this bit. Okay, depending how wide you want it. I normally do about a centimetre inch from each side. So my bit of card's roughly about 15 centimetres. So you want to make sure that on both sides you're starting the same amount in and ending at the same, so when you come down to the other end they're not all going off. So in my case, I'm, like I said, doing a centimetre inch, so I'll start a centimetre in and finish a centimetre in. So, and I'm going to make a mark at every ½ centimetre. So there's 1, 2, and stop at this half on the centimetre. So I'm going to turn around now. They could be a little bit out, which is not a problem at all. Just you don't want every other one going diagonally across the side. So in the first centimetre, again, we're just going to make little marks every ½ centimetre, just so you know in a bit when we're going to start cutting these little slips, you can keep it relatively even. I'm only doing it about, again, like almost like a ½ centimetre, maybe 3/4 of a centimetre in depth. You don't want to make it too thin because it won't grab the yarn enough. You don't want to make it too deep because if not, you'll be halfway down your cardboard and you'll be losing weaving room. Okay, again, I've got that centimetre either side. I'm just going to trim this a little bit off because it's annoying me. Cool. So now, nice and simple, by glue, we're just going to snip in these little bits like this. If you cut one deeper than the other, it's not a problem. It shouldn't really affect your stuff because you're weaving, because we're not going to weave right up to where right up to this cut edge. You want to leave a little room when we start weaving, because so you can finish it off how you need, however you want to. Need that room to do so. Just gonna cut on here like that, and then just do the same again on this side. So yes, I was saying, obviously if you have a large bit of cardboard, fair enough, but it will take you just that bit longer. And obviously I know that past experience that kids obviously don't want to have to wait too long to get to the fun bits, like the weaving. So, and I think also for when you're first making it, it's nice to make something slightly smaller because you can get the grips of how it is. I mean, when you get bigger ones, you can start making bigger grooves or more dense grooves, or so it's just nice to get the feel of it. We need to rescue my glue. Got all sorts down there. Right, cool. So now we've got these two bits. Now you don't all like have to put these bits on. Not a lot of people wouldn't, but I find it makes the weaving easier. So if you feel like you don't need them, don't do it. It's not necessary, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. In a bit, once we've started putting a bit of weaving in, you'll see what I mean. Right, okay, so when we put these down, we want them relatively close to these bits here, but you know, give a little bit of a gap. Just hold that down like that. Stick that down good and proper. Cool. And then do the same with your other side. So you've got your glue stick. Obviously you want a fair bit on here because it's got a hold. You could, if you've not got any glue stick or anything and you've got like something like double-sided tape, that would work really well. Some way of saving better than this. That's what I have got. And oh, I've stuck the wrong side. Never mind, I'll still do the same job. Lovely, cool. So with your string that you're going to be using, now because you're making your wall pens, you're going to want this to be relatively tough stuff. So like a string or cord of some sorts is going to be a lot handier, easier than chunky wool, but if you want to give that a go, I'm sure it'll serve you well, as long as it's strong enough to be beaten up a little bit. So I'm just making a little knot here. You want one relatively tight so it goes in. So you could just do the knot and then it should hold nicely like that, but I like to put a little bit of tape down. Just feels a bit more secure. I know that my weaving's not going to go anywhere. You put all that hard work into it and then suddenly it disappears. Not really what you want. Cool. And then with this, it's very simple. So we're literally just going in and then you come back around and into the next groove, up to the top, round into the next groove, like that. There you go. Another reason why it's quite nice to have nice clean edges is obviously this is what's stopping me from getting in there a little bit, but it'll go in. There you go. And like I said, this is why you kind of needed to try and make these dents as equal to each other as you can, because you could be going off like that or something and that would probably still work, but just be a little bit annoying. So when I'm going across here, I'm keeping a nice even tension. I'm not pulling it terribly tight like I would on some other looms, just because it's got a hole in this. All it's holding is a little bit of cardboard, and also when you're weaving it, because it's not like nothing's lifting it up for you, you've got to go in and out of there, so you want a bit of play to be able to get in and out underneath, under and over each wall pen. So just coming around. Yeah, and another one with making a larger one. This again would take you some time to do. This one shouldn't take too long. I'm nearly there. You'll get a bit of a flow going as well. I mean, so down to the cardboard, you want relatively sturdy cardboard. So I'd suggest cereal boxes, but they're a bit too floppy, I'd say, simply because when you start weaving, or when you're doing this bit, the card will start to bend and you'll get like this little bow and it just won't weave as smoothly. So, you know, things like pizza boxes and things like that, they're good. Another one you can do if you have got just a lot of cereal boxes is just like glue lots of cereal box like layers together, and it should thicken the card up. But you know, if you can get like shoe boxes, things like that, then this works a lot better. Right, so just gonna cut here with my really bad scissors. And again, down this end. Now you could tear a knot there if you want, but my tape seems to do a very good job anyway, so it's a lot easier than trying to tie a little knot in there. So make sure that's nice and secure down. And there you go. So that's the loom. Annoying that I got that the wrong way around, but we're here. So what this does now, it makes sure all these wall pens here aren't laying flat across this cardboard. So it just makes it a little bit easier for you to get underneath what you need to, so not laying flat and you're trying to get up underneath. So I'm going to show you now what this little bit of cardboard is for. You're just going to do a little cut like that, and a little cut like that. And I'm going to snip this top bit and make little cuts in here. You don't have to do this like this. You can just use a needle. So what I'm doing right now is making like a little shuttle. I would usually maybe use a little needle because sometimes it is easier to get through. You can put a bit more yarn on this though, which is helpful. But obviously if you've not got a nice thick needle at home to hold if you've got some chunkier yarn, then this works really nicely. You can just use your fingers. You can just kind of pluck it and put it underneath the nailer. I find that takes a little longer and it's a bit more tedious for me, but you know, different things work for different people. So I've essentially made like a little shuttle now, and so all I'm going to do is grab some of my yarn. I've just got a creamy acrylic here, so all I'm going to do is hold that still like that, and if you wrap it round, don't wrap too much round because it's just going to make it extremely difficult for you to get under and over here. So if I just cut a tail off, and then you've got your little shuttle. So then you just want to take starting it off with just, obviously with this, it's just generally speaking, it's plain weave. Obviously there's lots of different like little techniques and stuff, little tufting piles, you know, things like that you can do. But obviously to start it off, you always want to put a bit plain weave in. Sometimes it's good to do something a bit harsher than like this woolen acrylic, because it can make that nice and dense there and hold everything together really well. Like sometimes just putting through the same string that you used to make the warp with works really well. So I'm just going over, under, over, under. You want to leave a bit of a tail because at the end when you're finished, you cut it all off. This tail can then be kind of tucked back through the back. Using a needle would probably be best with that. But again, if you don't have a needle, you can always cut it short. It won't hurt. So yeah, I'm just going under, over, under, over. So every other one I'm going underneath. So it looks like that. Now I use a fork. if you've got like a little comb or something, that works as well. You might have the proper tool for it, but I use a fork because I find it does just as good as a job as anything else would. So now I've gone under over, we're going to do the opposite to what we just did. So now I'm picking up the string that I just went over, and I'm going under it. So you can see how my little shuttle's working. I can hold more yarn on there than I could with a needle. Well, you could hold quite a lot of needle, but you know, you have to keep pulling through a long bit of string. Whereas on this, it's all wound around this little cardboard shuttle. Have I got the right one? Yeah. And obviously, if you do go around the wrong one, it's not a major problem because you can just undo it, which is really handy about weaving. And just keep an eye on it though, because if you do it really far in and you notice you did it wrong, then there's a lot to undo. So when beating the next bit, I tend to have it blown across like this, so you've got room for it to come down without pulling this edge. And usually I'll just tuck this little edge down first and then come across like this. Quite high up onto this, but that's okay. You can start like here and you can start like here. It's not a problem, it's up to you where you start. I just like to start along here. But again, if you have it all the way up to here, it's going to make it very difficult to take it off and finish it. So you can see here where in this first one I went wrong. So it's really simple. So what to do is, if I just go up like that. So if I come to where I was here, and I can just do it with my fingers, or I could undo all of it and go back. But you can see how easy it is just to miss one, but you can also see how easy it is just to fix it if you're, you know, watching it. And so you can see how easy it is to notice it as well. Like I noticed quite quickly that these two were in the same bit, and that's not really what we're going for. See, now I'm going over under the opposite way to I just went. And you want to do like a fair old bit at this beginning bit. I usually go for about 5 rows, depending on the material I'm using, to be honest. If it's holding really well and it's keeping all packed, and then I usually just fill for when I feel like I've got a nice good bit going. There we go. So that's pretty much it. You just keep going with that, and you can introduce different colours. So again, just leave like a little tail that you can tuck back round afterwards, or if you don't have a way of doing that, just cut it really short once it's off, and then weave away. There's all sorts of different techniques you can do, like making tassels and things like that, which hopefully later on in the coming days I should be doing hopefully a workshop on how to do some tapestry weaving, so you can see different techniques which will, you know, transfer into doing this. So that's this first video on making a loom, a little cardboard loom. The next will be shortly. Thanks.